Christmas. Yes, it's a very happy day for every family all over the world. You could be Asian, or white, or black, or blue or green at that. And Christmas would probably still be a happy day to enjoy each year. But unfortunately, that don't apply to me, and, well, some others. As I'm a Souls player, and my idea of enjoyment revolves mainly around getting my ass beaten mercilessly around like a ragdoll by an in-game boss that's designed specifically to do just that. Oh my god. Ayo! Allahu Akbar, bratan! What the fuck is that, man? Ayo. Oh my god, dude! I'm so close! I'm so close! Oh my god, this is so fucking haram, man! This is so haram! What the fuck? Bratan, that's so haram, man! And so, after concocting an idea straight out of my butthole, this is the world's first Christmas run. So, how does this run actually go? Well, it's quite simple really. I can only use gears with the name tree, bell, or deer on them. And yes, that includes armors. Talismans and tiers are not bound by this rule, as we would literally be using one talisman and no tiers at all for the whole run, if we had done so. So, well, now before you get all bummed out and thinking that there probably won't be any at all, we actually have, surprisingly, a really good amount of choices to work with. Like the whole Earth Tree weapon group, such as the Earth Tree Bow, the Earth Tree Great Bow, the Earth Tree Seal, and etc. However, using bows would be kinda outside the rule boundaries, as none of the arrows actually has the name tree on them. And if I allowed myself to use status arrows on an actual challenge run, this will be, well, 1, boring to watch, and 2, a bit too easy. Now, the same thing goes for the Earth Tree Seal, in which, although the seal itself has the name tree on it, the spells with the name tree or bell are kinda, well, limited to just a few healing spells, like, for example, Blessing of the Earth Tree. So, with that out of the way, here are the rules for the run. I can only use anything with the word tree, bell, or deer on them. This is going to be a solo run, so we can't use any summons. We can only go to a +5 maximum Flask level. I can only enhance 1 Somber or 2 smithings per boss. No glitches or exploits. And that pretty much wraps things up. Now, with that being said, let's get started. To begin the run, we're going to be using the Samurai class, as this is probably the only class that has just enough levels and stats to be able to wield the first weapon of the run without actually investing too much on levels, as the first weapon that we're going to be using actually requires quite a bit of stats to, well, wield, which is a challenge by itself. Now, I know that we talked about not using bows, but since we're so close by, I thought, let's just go and get it, just in case. So after we've done that, now we can go all the way to Leonia of the Lakes through the secret passage to be able to get the first actual weapon that we can get. And this would actually be something most of you might have never heard about. The Wraith Calling Bell. Nice. Perfect. Next, just because we're close by, we're gonna get an actual weapon this time, and this is actually gonna be the weapon that we'll be using throughout the run. Well, alongside some others. But this weapon in particular will actually take a lot of precedence into a lot of really tough times going forwards. So, well, we went to get that first, but whatever. Nice. Once that's done, we are gonna go forwards and get a couple things that we might need later on. So this is like 10 strength. Nice. Here. So that's gonna make my potion slightly better. Then I'm gonna take this. As you can see, we are still quite a bit off from, well, actually wielding the tree spear. And so, there's literally nothing else we can do but to use the Wraith Calling Bell for this one. Out of many of the run attempts for Margit, I have learned that the Flask that we're using would just be enough to actually, well, kill him. However, we need to go fully blue. So, we actually don't even have a single red potion to use. And because the damage is quite low, this fight took a while. The strategy for this one is actually quite simple compared to, well, the other runs that I have. As for this one, all I need to do is to walk as far away as possible, and I will be able to, well, shoot out either one or two of the Wraith Calling Bells to deal damage, and then run to the other side again to, well, repeat the process all over again. And I guess if there's truly one thing that this fight had a bit of a challenge for, is just being able to last long enough and to not really make a lot of mistakes, especially because, well, we don't have a lot of potions to work with, so most of the damage that you're taking is pretty much close to fatal. And I guess after a while, we just got it. Take a look. Just to be real with you boys, that damage was fucking pathetic. And so I thought that maybe it's time that we start using the tree spear, as we're not really lacking that much more levels, and so I decided to kill the dragon in Kaled. However, I'm out of my word, I only used just enough stats, just enough levels to actually use the tree spear. And I threw away the rest of the runes that I got from the dragon, because I really want to not overlevel for this run. That's kind of boring after all. Well, moving along, without wasting any time, it's, well, Godrick time. And this boss honestly became quite a bit of a hurdle, as this is pretty much a very wholly resistant boss. And the bad thing about this tree spear is that, well, this weapon is a split between holy and physical, and so pretty much you could say that the holy aspect of this weapon ended up being kinda redundant, as it just makes him able to resist most of the damage that we are having at this point of the game. And at a +0 tree spear, the damage really isn't great. However, I do feel that the charged attack has a lot of damage and a lot of poise damage. And so, what I did was pretty much what you would expect on every single Godrick fight. And that's just to wait for his roly-poly attack and punish that with a charged heavy, and after a while, Godrick goes down. Oh yeah, you guys wanna watch the fight? Carry on.
I am the Lord of all that is golden, and one day we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
Are you done, bro? Like, okay. Alright. Well, right after Godrick, we have a lot of things to do. And so, without wasting a lot of time, we go straight to Leonia of the Lakes to, well, enter the Royal Lucario Academy. But before that, we need to get the item that will unlock the gates. The Red Wolf of Radahn is actually quite difficult, as this boss deals quite a lot of damage early on. However, this boss is also really fast, and let's just say that it's quite difficult to deal damage to him with a slow weapon like this Great Spear. And because this weapon is, well, still at +0 at this point, the damage isn't exactly memorable. But I think after just a few attempts of me getting used to the attack patterns and learning to be less greedy, we managed to get it done. You will start to believe them. That's bad, because they're terrible. Don't talk shit about yourself. Hey, that's everyone's job. It's not your job. Okay? You get my point? Naked is the way. Uncle is handsome? Well, thank you very much. I don't think so, but thank you. Art of Dying, Fazula, Uncle OP. Thank you so much for the donation, Fazula. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm a very small creator. My revenue is pretty close to nonsense. So when I get tips, it doesn't need to be much. Like $1, $1 USD, 5 USD. It means a lot to me. You know, it means a lot to me. It means that there's someone out there that's enjoying the content enough that they're willing to show their appreciation, their hard-earned money, as thank you, as gratitude to me. And that feels good. That feels really good. I hate this scene. It's creepy. It's like these girls want a piece of me, you know, like... Huh! Ugh! Yeah, look at that beauty. Yeah. Oh shit. I'm not into those group stuff though. I mean, 101, that's fine, but this is kind of outside my budget. As for the Rennala fight, this is actually not that hard. However, what makes this one in particular quite difficult for this run is because of the low damage that this weapon unfortunately has. And so, because of that alone, this first phase took about 4 rotations to finally take a route. The second phase, however, is a lot more bearable simply because, well, this boss is quite easy to cheese once you understand that all you need to do is to go completely brain dead aggressive and keep constant pressure on her while dodging her attacks inwards so that you're able to punish her right after she does the spell thingy. And I don't think this one took too long. It's just the first phase that kind of messes things up. Anywho, here's the fight. By the way, boys, there's something I'm just completely frustrated about, and I want to share you this frustration that I have. In Church of LA, okay? In Church of LA, there is one fucking NPC that you can kill with the perfect Santa outfit. Look at that! It's absolutely perfect, but even if you kill him, he's not gonna drop the outfit. I'll show you. Die, kill. Die. See? You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get his outfit even if you kill him. That's fucking retarded. I want that Santa outfit to be more perfect for the run, you know? Like, I mean, yeah. But you can't get it. You can't. The game says, "Nuh-uh, bitch. Not today. Nuh-uh." So, well, you can't get it. And that's sad, because it's perfect. It's fucking perfect. See? You can't get it. It's fucking stuck. Not being able to get the outfit is really a huge bummer. Luckily, I have a girl here that will be able to give some emotional support, if you could say. Yeah, I'm a bit of a simp. I'm sorry about that.
You are very warm.
Once all that's over and we have gotten our energy and a lot of PP training done, kudos to Fia, we can finally start by actually addressing some of the matters at hand. And the first one's gonna be, well, our damage. And because of that, we had to, well, do some enhancements. Therefore, we're going to the Limgrave tunnels to actually get some smithing stone 1s to upgrade our tree spear. You will die. Let's go. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. 5,000 runes? You fucking kidding me, dude? You kidding me? Anyway, after we finish with all the prep, we can finally unlock Altus Plateau to unlock the Radahn fight. And boy, this fight took close to 3 hours. To be perfectly honest, Radahn isn't exactly super difficult. However, this boss is quite strong at this stage of the game because our levels are quite low, our weapons are not fully enhanced, and so we either get one-shotted or two-shotted by almost any big attack. And so, we just did whatever we could. And that's to walk backwards, to despawn him, to stop him from shooting arrows. And pretty much the only thing that I can do is punish the super long lunge, or to actually, well, jump or dodge his swipes and prepare for the gravity pull that he will eventually do that you can punish. But aside from that, majority of the fights that I have in this fight is mostly just me making a lot of mistakes and being too greedy and getting punished. Unfortunately, due to the lack of armor at this stage of the game and the low levels, those small mistakes can prove to be quite fatal. But after about 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, I managed to get this boss down. Here's the fight. You must be thinking, why am I here fighting Radahn when killing Rennala is pretty much enough to progress with the game? Well, because there is something that we need to get in Nokron, and because of that, we need to unlock Radahn. And this fight, in spite how tedious it is, will prove to be a good investment, as the next weapon that we will get is just right around the corner. If there's truly one thing that I could say is still kind of a bummer, is the fact that this weapon that we will get still needs us to kill 2 more bosses. Well, 3. You'll exactly know what I mean. Oh my god. This boss right here is called the Valiant Gargoyles. And yes, there's an S in the back, because instead of one, there's actually two of them. However, the second one only comes in once the first one is already at half HP. Now, instead of just doing a ton of damage on every single hit, these bosses are also very notorious for being one of the most terribly designed bosses in this game. Just a few, probably Godskin Duo and this one. And that's the fact that these two bosses are just a nightmare to deal with. It's really not fun at all. It's not even remotely fun. These bosses just gang up on you and they kind of like bamboozle you with multiple attacks from multiple directions. And not to mention, the poison that they both spew out kind of makes you unable to stay in one area. So, in spite of being in a really good position on one, you might also be just 1 inch away from death, as the poison mist deals tremendous amounts of damage per hit, and if you get poisoned at this stage of the game, it's pretty much over. And so, this fight took me a very long time. How long exactly? Well, ask anyone who watched the stream. It took me ages. To be precise, 4 hours and a half. And one of the biggest pointers on this one is because at this point my spear is still not really enhanced, as I get kind of lazy with the, well, looking for enhancements kind of ordeal. And so I just brute force my way through, hoping that my skill would be able to carry me through this fight. And despite how cool that sounds, it's really not worth it at all. As if you looked at the YouTube algorithm, or if you can look at the search bar on YouTube, you actually won't find a single person who's killed this thing solo at this level with this particular weapon group. I really wish I'm using a dex weapon, or a fast weapon at that, because really looking for attack opportunities with this weapon on this boss has proved to be quite difficult. However, like always, persistence is the best friend of success. Enjoy. If there truly is one thing that you guys can take home from this video, it's the lesson that often in times, any lesson can be obtained from literally anywhere, including a video game. And I guess you could say in this one instance, it's the fact that resilience is truly the only thing that can combat misfortune. Editing this whole thing just gives me all the goosebumps back, man. Jesus Christ, fuck that boss. Jeez. Anywho, we have finally reached the Einzel... Wait, what was it again? Oh, it's called the Deep Root Depths. And before we start with that one, we're actually gonna go deal with the Draconic Tree Sentinel first. Cause the thought about him just bugs me at the time. And so, yeah, we're gonna take him out first. Okay, so I know now that this is good. I guess we can play around that now. The setup's good. Get close. Charge. Stagger. Now, nice. That's good. Nope. Hit twice. Nope, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Nice. Jump. Punish. Dodge. Punish. Nice. There you go. Feels good, man. Feels good. Feels good. 50k. Okay, that's like 4 levels. 4 levels. Okay. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it, dude. Now, the whole reason to why we did all that nonsense is simply for this point right here. And this is gonna be the Siluria Tree Sentinel. And, well, beating this boss will give us a first set of armor and a weapon that I can't wait to use since the very start of this challenge, as this weapon is one of my favorites in the whole game. Unfortunately, I've never actually done a whole run with it, so I don't quite know what it does in PvE. Well, this is pretty much how the boss fight goes after about 5 attempts. There we go. There we go. Now this run can finally get started, boys. Oh, I can't wait. Alright, so we got the Crucible Tree armor, Crucible Tree helm. Oh, we can't use the greaves and the other parts because they're not the same. Just in case you guys don't understand what I'm saying, the Crucible Knight armor and the helmet has the word tree on it. However, the greaves and the gauntlet does not. And so we can't use, well, the greaves and the gauntlet. And that also means we're kind of stuck with just the armor and the helmet, which is quite a bummer. However, I think that if there's something pretty bad that I notice here is the fact that Siluria Tree is also part holy, and to make it worse, it's about half holy, half physical. And so, for those that don't know how bad holy is in Elden Ring, it's pretty fucking bad. every single endgame boss is resistant to Holy. And in case you guys are seeing on the screen that I'm still completely butt naked, aside from the helmet, is because I think that I've gotten very used to using the light roll. So I think using armor would only diminish that kind of muscle memory that I have with the dodge that I'm using throughout the run. And so I decided that I probably won't be using armor unless I get really stuck with the boss. I normally just skip this fight in terms of, well, parts of the video, because this boss is a bit easy. However, just for this one instance, actually I want to share to you this one thing that Rehvka, another Souls content creator from Indonesia, pointed out in one of my last videos, to include this guy on my next one. And so, shout out to Rehvka, and give him a follow if you could. Thank you so much. Enjoy this fight, I guess. Easy. Alright. Okay, dude. Well, after that incredibly difficult ordeal, we can finally begin by preparing for the next fight, which will be Morgott. Now, this fight had given me some problems in the past, especially when you're using a slow weapon like this Great Spear. And because of that, I decided to, well, commit a cardinal sin. Yeah, alright, boys. I asked for it very nicely. Trust. Anywho, this is the Morgott fight, and on this one, we can actually start the fight by using the Ash of War of this Siluria tree. And as you can see, this deals quite good damage despite Morgott having such a high holy resistance. And I think from this alone we managed to, well, chip some more of the Ash of War when he summons the sword down. This pretty much wraps up most of the early parts of his HP, and I think from here onwards not a lot of things kinda became too difficult. All I can do here is just keep on throwing my Ash of War once I reach enough distance. And this strategy seems to work extremely well, as Morgott likes to do the slow walk. So that pretty much wraps this fight around. Smarter, boys. Now, right after all that, I got some really good idea, and that's to find another outfit that kinda works as Santa, because I don't feel like I'm looking enough like Santa, so we decided to get that first. Anywho, let's continue. Alright, on to the Fire Giant. You see, this fight honestly isn't too difficult, and if there is one thing that's quite annoying is the fact that this boss is extremely tanky, and because we don't have any status and our levels aren't really quite catched up, So we are kinda a bit underleveled, our weapons are not really enhanced to the best possible state it could have been, and well, with all that in mind, this boss means that it will take me a long time to kill this thing. And because it takes a lot of time, it's a test of endurance and how long I can, well, survive without making too many mistakes. Because even with the armor and also the helmet of the Tree Sentinel, this is still a very long fight, especially on the second phase. To be precise, the second phase alone probably took twice as long as getting the HP down to about 30%. So, the first 70% of this boss's health goes down so much faster than the final 30%. So, you can imagine how long this fight took. And pretty much most of my deaths come at pretty much making small mistakes here and there, and pretty much dead because of that. Especially because the fire damage that this thing does is quite crazy. In fact, even with the Tree Sentinel armor, we are still getting two-shotted most of the time. And so, this is just a fight of metal, and a fight of whoever has better resilience and focus. With the fire giant down, we're pretty much already at the endgame, and there's not really a lot of bosses left. However, this video is already about 43 minutes long, and so I don't want to waste most of your time. We're just gonna straight down to the bosses, and let's end this game once and for all. At least this run. Now, with the Godskin Duo. The notoriously called worst, most terribly designed fight in the whole game. However, for this run in particular, I honestly think this isn't hard to do at all. In fact, I finished this one in under an hour, if I recall correctly. And I think it's all due to the Siluria tree's Ash of War, which proved to be extremely useful for the second phase of this boss fight. And so, the strategy for this one is actually quite simple. We're just gonna chip down the fat one all the way till she starts to do the roly-poly attack, and then we would just climb up to the pillar and we would use the Ash of War to hit the fat one until it dies. Then we can hit the thin one, bring it down to half HP, and pretty much reset the process and punish the summoning process, the summoning ritual at least. And pretty much that's the whole fight. Don't believe me? Well, look at this. left alone.
Fatty. Die, Fatty. Okay, Fatty's dead. Omen. Okay, perfect. It's over. It's fucking over! Oh my god!
Now, onto Maliketh, the game's considered to be the actual hardest boss. Well, it kinda depends on who you think is harder, this or Millennia. However, this boss is gonna be a major problem for this run, especially on this run, because this particular boss has a huge holy resistance, and, well, because our damage is half holy, it pretty much cuts down our damage to about half, just on the get-go. And this is pretty fucking bad. And also, this boss is quite notorious for being fast and have extremely low openings. And so you can't really consistently do damage to it on like small openings, as your weapon is quite slow, especially for us on this one. However, on this one I actually found a better strategy, and that's to hide on the pillars to just be able to use the Ash of War once in a while from behind the pillar. And so this will pretty much bring him to second phase quite consistently. Now, the major problem of the second phase will be to just dodge properly, because literally anything will kill us in one shot. That's pretty much the whole caveat of this boss fight, at least for me. Well, this is how the rest of the fight goes.
Oh my god! No fucking way, dude! Oh my god, I only used 4 potions! Fuck!
Well, with Maliketh done, most of the hurdle of this run is pretty much, well, finished. And now we only have 2 more bosses to actually fight before we can end the game. Luckily for us, the next one is relatively simple. However, we do need to collect some stuff first. Perfect. Very well. This next boss is going to be Gideon, and once you know how to beat him, he's actually probably the easiest boss in the whole game. I'll speed this up so you can see what exactly I'm talking about. The same, however, can't really be said for the next boss, and this is going to be Godfrey, one of the toughest bosses in the game. This is the only boss left standing between us and, well, the final boss. And so this guy is quite a problem. However, because he, just like Morgott, likes to slow walk a lot, you can actually cheese him at least just the first few parts by using a long-ranged attack, which is perfect because we have the Siluria Tree's Ash of War, which can do exactly just that from a distance. However, I have decided that this take way too long, and so I decided to just go ham and, well, attack him the same way I would attack the Golden Godfrey. The only big difference is just the tankiness, the damage, and the speed of most of his thrusts. However, the rest of the moveset is pretty much similar, or even the same. However, if there's actually one problem, and that's gonna be the second phase, because on the second phase, he became incredibly tanky. He's not really that easy to dodge anyways on the second phase, and also his kind of damage just one-shots us. So the only way around this is to, well, play extremely carefully and only hit during his huge lunge attack or on the single hand sweep. The rest of the fight goes as follows. Man, this fight takes way too long. Well, we have finally reached the end of the game, and there's really no going back from this one. This fight, however, is probably the hardest one so far for me. It took about 6 hours until I was finally able to beat this. I was unable to beat this in 2 separate streams, and so I had to play this thing offline. And let's just say that this fight nearly broke me. However, if there's truly one thing that we can learn from this video, aside from the first lesson, it's that often life is gonna be full of shit, and it is supposed to be that way. However, if you want life to change, then you have to be the change in the world. I often wonder to myself, why am I doing all these challenge runs? Why am I playing the same game over and over again? Why do I bother to record such a long video, edit such a long video? Why do I keep on doing this? And to be perfectly honest to you guys, the answer to that question is, I don't know. But if there's truly one guess that I have, is that I enjoy narrating a story. I like to tell you a story full of dread and pain and suffering, but at the same time a rewarding journey that you guys can take home with you with a little bit of entertainment and obviously some lessons. And I think all throughout the Dark Souls series, the Bloodborne series, Sekiro, and all FromSoft and Souls-like games alike, there's always something that you guys can take home with you. And that's often a very simple thing. As simple as the fact that each of these games are meant to tell you a lesson, to teach you an important life lesson of never giving up, an idea where you should overcome obstacles that comes your way, in one way or the other. You can play the game the way I do, make things a bit difficult for yourself, or you can play even harder, you can make the challenges even harder for yourself, or perhaps you want to make it easier, you can overlevel, use broken builds, use all sorts of extremely powerful nonsense, or you can play the game the way you want, regardless of how it may be. And I think that on itself speaks to us very simply about life and how life should be. And in my opinion, that right there is a recipe for an amazing game. With this video done, we have finally, officially completed the first Elden Ring's actual Christmas run. I hope that you guys had a good fun watching this video. Editing this video has been quite tiring for me, but at the same time, I'm also enjoying my time looking back at how my journey started. And I guess that's it for today's video. That's it from me. This is your Uncle Big Fish, and if you have any other challenge runs that you want me to do, please do let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again on the next one. Bye.